stored. We looked at the news links on the top, so that top menu bar has the home and then the news. We walked through the help screens, how you can search for particular search items. There's a link at the top there for the ifti.edu webpage. We briefly went over the course catalog, how to search and find courses using keywords. As we pointed out to you in the programs of study, you saw how the course codes were established. And then what else did we do? I think that's probably about it. So today, we're going to, go ahead.
We did the My Account page and talked about the demographics and sample enrollments that the admins can assign members.
Right, we did do that. So today what we're going to do is we're going to go over the administrative pieces. So anyone that has the admin rights will have access to the reports, the admin menu, and the admin tools. So those are the three topics that we're going to cover. We're going to cover those today. So we're going to start with the reports tab. So Donna's clicking for me, so and we're all going to be contributing here. So you'll hear a couple of different voices likely. So the reports is your way of pulling information out of the system. So as we've worked along the way, you'll see the people that are entering information into the system are able to run some pretty hardy reports about users, transcripts, demographics, and other needs based on each district council, and maybe some reporting that you have to give out based on your state or your local. So there are My Saved reports. So when you log in and you create reports on your own, you can save those reports in this section. And reports can be either private or public, but if they're under My Reports, they're going to be private reports, so you don't always have to share it. So there's a number of different ones, and from there, all you have to do is click because you've already established the parameters of that report. So then there's also the public reports, which are down lower, and those are all the reports that are created. Probably Donna or I, or even Ken Rogers in some cases, may have created reports that are useful for everyone to use. So those will be available to you when you log into the report section because they're public. So you do have that choice of making them private or public. Typically, when we find something that works for everyone, we'll make it a public report. So, so then if you want to create your own report, there are data sets, and we have different topics for those. We can do an accreditation transcript, a course and catalog information, certificates. One of the popular ones is the transcripts, and the user demographics are pretty popular as well. So each of these reports has different functions behind them. All of the fields within the LMS are searchable, so these reports will be able to pull in any of the information that you've entered into the LMS. Okay, so Donna or Ken, do you guys want to?
Yeah, so we can show them a sample report. So the first report that was created for COE is an accreditation transcript. Then a sample would be under public reports. So if you go to public reports, it's a template. It would be 1-LMS transcript. So if you click that, this is a sample of an accreditation transcript report. So once I click that template, it loads a sample configuration of how the template was created. So this is a very basic report, and these are the requirements from the COE. So on the left side, you'll see here fields. So these are the fields that we selected. So normally they're just asking for a full name. We want the member ID, the course code, the hours assigned to the course, the status, if it's completed, then what is the date of completion? So when you think about the fields, you're looking at a spreadsheet. So these are the columns of your spreadsheet. So these are the things that you want to appear on your spreadsheet. So on the right side, you'll see here some of the filters. So since it's a basic report, there are a few filters based on the fields. For our filter, we'll just do a simple filter for member ID. So we can cross this member ID, and I'll show you how we generated the field. So from the drop down, you have the different sets of filters. So I just highlighted member ID, then click the plus sign, and there it generates a field where you can type the member ID. So I'll just type in my member ID. 18. Then if that's all you need, I'll run a report. So we're telling the system we just want the transcript of the honor cruise. So once you hit run report, it gives you different ways to view the report. So HTML, similar to how we view the My Transcript page. So this is an easy view, but if you want to further filter the report or add a few items on the report, so you can click .csv, and when you open it, it gives you all the requirements that you added in the field. So it's giving you full name, member ID, course code, course name, hours, and status. So I tested a lot of courses, so it's showing a lot of courses. So if the member is completing like courses for the glazing curriculum, so it should show his glazing completions, or if he's taking core classes, it would show some of the classes that he took for like Introduction to Health and Safety or some leadership classes. So if you want to save the report, you can click Save, and when you do this, it saves the file on your tab. So after configuration, there's another tab here that's called Files, and right now it doesn't have a way to rename the file, but it shows you when you download the file and the time you downloaded the file. So if you want to go back, you can again view it as .csv or the HTML file. So this is a sample report. There are other reports that you can view, as Alice mentioned. If you go back to the reports page, there are different configurations. The most popular ones are course transcripts and the user demographics. So we have available templates that we've created for the district councils that they can use. Some of them are requesting completion, some are requesting like a progress report, and we can click, let's say for 82, they were looking at an OSHA 10 progress report. So if we're comparing it to what we just did for the COE accreditation report, now we're looking at multiple fields and multiple filters. So this is a sample configuration of the OSHA 10 progress report. And so we're asking the system, can you give me the following information? So I want all these fields, so the last name, full name, I want an email, local union, and these are all part of the My Profile page. So the more fields you click, the longer your report. So if you're thinking of generating a report, just click the ones that you need. So it doesn't take the system longer than necessary to load the report. So now, given that information, so we also want the member ID. So we just want the course code and course name and the date of completion. So these has multiple filters. So again, how do you do filters? So there's a drop down. You can select any filter that you want. So for this, since it's an OSHA 10 report, the district council specifically listed the course name should be OSHA 10 and the course code is 1100C. So once the system it's filtered, it's just looking for these completion. And it's now loading other courses like glazing, paint, or other curriculum. It's specific to OSHA 10. Then for training purposes, we listed District Council 82 because Alice and I, we have the access to all district councils. But with your permissions, you don't need to do this because your permissions are by district council. So if you generate the report, although it's a public template, it would only generate reports from your district council. So if you like this report, all you need to do if you're not from District Council 82 is just X out the district council field. Then there's also a report that, or a filter that they said, can you give me everything greater than January 1st of 2019? So when you run the report for 82, it gives you a listing of all OSHA 10 completed as of 2019 and 2020. So open up the CSV file. So right now it's just showing one name. So the report is as good as the data that you upload. So if you're not doing uploads, if you're not completing courses through the online classes, it won't give you the results that you need. So you have to start uploading your files. If you need help with that, we'll work with your district council. So Al, do you want to show them another sample?
Sure. Let's look at user demographics.
From scratch?
Sure. We can create a new one.
Okay.
So let's say the user demographics is actually probably a very useful report because it contains everything regarding the user. So there may be times when you're looking for people in specific local union, or you're looking to see who has an email address and who doesn't. So it all depends upon what you want to see in that report as to what you put in your report field. So we probably want to start with so we're going to create from scratch. So we're probably want to start with the full name. So we're going to check that, and we want to know if they have, want to know their email because we might need to contact them. You click the email. So the username and the member ID are going to be the same. It's both the member ID, but in the system we call it the username. So we'll click on username, and maybe we want to sort by a local union. We want to know what local union they're in, and then we want to know where they live. So let's do street address, city, state, and postal code. And we also, if we scroll down a little bit more, we want to know what trade they represent and what region. Let's do, there's trade, and let's do district council. We have the local union and the region. Okay. So these are the things that I'm looking for. Now, I don't really want to know everything from every region. Or every district council. So we're going to sort it by, we'll sort it by region. Okay, and we'll call it, let's do the western region. So we'll type in the word west. So any region that matches west is what's going to show in our report. I don't have a district. I don't have a local union in the western region.
East.
Yeah, let's do east because we can use our local.
Okay.
So and then we also want to sort it by. You want to do district council?
Sure.
Okay, so we'll do district council 51.
So in the LMS and IMS, we follow the IMS format. So for district council, it's DC and 6 digits. So the last 2 or 3 digits are the district council number. Right, and then that might be a pretty big report. So we're going to also add a filter for the local union. And we'll do 1936. 36. That's ours, isn't it? Yeah. Are you looking for specific trades, Al?
Let's look for all the glazers. So we'll select this. These are all filters. So we're saying I only want to see the East Coast people from District Council 51, Local Union 1936, who have a primary trade of glazer.
Okay.
All right, so then we can click Run Report, and we'll see what that returns. Now, the key to the reporting, you know, if you find one that's a saved report, go ahead and use it. Now, so our report is empty. We may have had too many criteria, so let's get rid of the region since we've specified a district council already. So it's best to kind of get rid of region. I probably have too much search criteria, so it has to match everything. So let's see if we can eliminate the number of filters and it may return a little bit more information. We don't have any glazers in the District Council 51. So this is a point taken here. Keep trying and looking for different filters that will return the information that you want. I'm not sure. We're not 1936. We're 1937, aren't we?
Oh, okay. That might be the issue.
That's probably it. Yep. So it's very specific. It did not find that criteria. So if you add 5 different filters, it needs to match something in every filter. So we mistyped the local union. I said it wrong in the first place, so it couldn't find it. So now it returns it because we specified the correct local union. So again, you can either pull it up as an HTML or you can pull it up as an Excel CSV file, which allows you to do even further filtering of the report that you asked for. So,
yeah. So from the report, it's showing that we have 1,200 plus members of Local Union 1937. Okay.
Right.
About right.
Right. Yep. So there's a lot of people in this that meet that criteria from DC 51. So I would suggest for everybody just to go look at the saved reports, the public reports, and play around with those, try them a couple of times, and then you can manipulate your search filters to get the information that you're exactly looking for. Okay.
Okay, so from the reports page, we have the admin menu. So from the admin menu, these are some of the functions assigned to your permission. So when you look at your admin menu, you will have access to users and groups. And from users and groups, you have the links to users, groups, a way to import activity data, and a way to import certificate data. So for today's webinar, we'll be focusing on the top 3 since these are the functions that are frequently requested or used by the district council. So users, groups, and import activity data. So we'll start with users. Ken, you want to start with this?
Okay, that's no problem. So on the Users tab, right now you can see that you have 466,446 users in the system. There's 162,000 that are active and 23 that are currently online. On the right-hand side, you see that there are 261 new users this week and 1,415 added. So when you do a user search, on the left-hand side, it's limited to 1 line of text. So if you search for K. Rogers, which is me, then you'll go through the LMS and pull up all the records for K. Rogers. So you just type in the fields and then click the search button. So you can see down on the very bottom, K. Rogers. If you notice a little on the right-hand side, there's a leaf. Those are enrollments. The little red circle, that means that I'm logged in. I'm logged in on my current computer right now. And the other button on the right-hand side is if Donna needed to log in as me to see if there was any issues, she has that ability. So if you click on my name on the left-hand side, it'll bring up my user profile page. So on the user profile page, it's everything that's in the IMS. So basically, the IMS is the master for all the demographics. Nightly, the demographics comes over and populates the profile page. But on here, you can get a quick stat. So you can see that my user was created in 2011. I never expire. My supervisor is Tom Funstein. The IP address I came in from, the most recent activity on a course that I took. On the left-hand side, if you go to the right, course performance, you can see how many courses I'm enrolled in, what my average grade is, how many I've completed, if there's any that are overdue. I'm probably not a great example because I do have enrolled in a lot of courses and I really don't complete a lot, and I'm not really smart enough to pass all the courses. The courses down below, lessons performance, so you can see that I passed 15 and that I failed 0. So maybe I am better than I thought. You have the tabs across the top. So the first tab that we're on is the stats. If you click the profile on the left-hand side, in here you can see all the information that would come over from IMS. All that information comes over nightly, so all of your regions, DOTs, district councils, all that stuff gets populated every night if changes are made in IMSE. They get sent over here. The groups that I belong to is the next tab over. So in the groups, a lot of these are special permissions. So as Donna was mentioning when you run reports earlier, if you're a member of a specific district council or local, then you only see your members. Those are filtered by the groups that you belong to. Other groups contain enrollments. So there's enrollment groups. So if there's an all Glazers enrollment group that somebody could be in, then they would have access to all those courses. And then the fourth tab across the top is certificates. Any certificates that I was awarded by completing classes would be assigned to me, and you can look at them there. So when courses are completed, there are certificates that are assigned upon completion. They're internal generated certificates, and they do show up so that you can look at that information there. The buttons on the very top, if you hover over it says Enrollments. If you click on that button, that shows all enrollments for this user. So you'll go through and see all these enrollments, when they were started, if they're a one-time enrollment, if they're recurring enrollments, what the enrollment started, when the enrollments are due. The end date is when the course is no longer accessible. The status of the enrollment, if you need to reset an enrollment, somebody needed to restart from the beginning, just be careful of that button if you have it, because what that does is it wipes out all pre-existing data. So if I went in and took a course and then somebody hit that reset, it wipes it off from the face of the earth. So Donna or Alice, if you actually click that reset button, because it doesn't matter what you do to mine, then it gives you a warning. It says all user activity will be cleared. So if you want to wipe out all history, then that's where that would happen. And if you need to modify, you can hit cancel or OK. It doesn't matter on mine. On the right-hand side, if you need to modify an enrollment that's been assigned, that's where you would go through and click that, and it would bring up and allow you to modify the enrollments. So in here, you can say whether it starts immediately, when does it end. Maybe there was a course that they were supposed to have completed at a certain time, and you need to extend that period. You can do it there. So that's the enrollment button. So if you go back, the other buttons that you have on there, those are permissions. You guys wouldn't have that. That's private catalog access. Transcripts you have, those would pull up and then show you the completions that you have in the LMS. What's completed, the dates, the course, pass, fail, things like that. That shows up as an HTML report, and you can close that.
Right, and the transcripts are generated by the completion of your course online or by a manual upload, which we'll also be showing you.
Yes. The next tab, or the next button to the right, is a calendar. Just for reference, the next button over to the right from that, we have the ability to import activity data. But I think we should do that from the other section, don't you?
Yeah.
The other one, I believe, is import certificates and then log in as that user. So those are what those buttons are, and they kind of tell you what they are when you highlight over them. So that's all the information under the user profile. Did you want to go in?
So some of you might be asking, what are things I can do for the member using the admin menu and going to the user and finding the member information? So the first thing you can do for the member is you can actually change their password. So Ken said you can just click profile, then from the profile you have a new password field. You type in a new password, confirm the password, then don't forget to save the changes. So once you save the changes, just give that new password to the member and they can log in. So we can do this if they don't have an email on file. The other thing that you can do for the member, Ken showed you some sample enrollments assigned to his account. So a way to assign, so right now it's showing that he has 5 pages of enrollment. So it's since he's testing the curriculum, so he has multiple courses assigned to him. But let's say you have a member and you want to assign him a course for paint commercial. So there are 2 links here. Whenever you see the link, that's a way for you to assign enrollment. So there are 2 options. Is it a one-time enrollment or is it a recurring enrollment? So typically it would be a one-time enrollment. So you click that link with a plus sign and you would see here a way to assign the course. So you have a plus and X sign where you can add or remove a course. So in this case, let's say we're adding a course and we're looking at paint commercial curriculum. So if you're familiar with the programs of study, you would know that all paint curriculum starts with PNT. So you can just search that. And it gives you, at first, it gives you the district council specific curriculum. But once you scroll down, you would start seeing the curriculum for paint. So it's up to you if you want to give him a single course. Let's say you just want to give him 7102, you can highlight that, then click OK. Or let's say you want to assign him multiple courses. So you can just go back and add a course. So I click add and type in PNT. You can type in a specific course code, but let's find the PNT curriculum. Then I'll assign him multiple courses. So what I'll do, I'll highlight the courses that I like. Let's say 7104, 7105. So how I'm doing this is I'm hitting control and highlighting the course. So I'm selecting multiple courses. Let's say I want to give him 2 more classes. Then once I'm satisfied with the assignments, I click OK. So the next step after assigning 9 courses to the member is the easiest way is just click or check the box, start right now. Then no end date, but if you want to specify when he wants to start or when you want him to start or when you want him to end the course or finish the course, then you can specify the date. But typically district councils to easily manage enrollments, they just click both checkboxes. If there's no end date, then once you're satisfied with the setup of the courses, then you click Save Changes. So once you click Save Changes, it would say enrollment has been assigned, click OK, and that's done. So give it a few minutes once Ken logs into his My Account, he would start seeing the course that you just assigned him, all the 9 Paint curriculum courses. So that's admin menu users and finding a specific user. Al, is there anything you want to add for admin menu users?
No, I think that was good.
Okay, so we have a question from Ken Thiel. He's asking, can you give a group of members a set of course at the same time? Yes. So what we just showed you is assigning a course or multiple courses for a single person. Through the groups page or function, there is a way to assign multiple courses to multiple groups or to a single group. So Ken right now is a special admin. So typically a member is assigned to his district council, his region, and any group assigned by the admin. So let's say he's part of District Council 51. We could just type in 51 and it would give us all the groups. So these are the groups set up by District Council 51. They've set up a way to assign curriculum for paint for all years, for the first year or the fourth year. So I can just click on that, and depending on how it was set up, I would get whatever enrollment created for that particular year. And I just click done, and that's how easy it is.
There's another question.
Okay, go ahead.
So there's another question from the Ohio region. They want to know if a student finishes a class and it doesn't show, can you modify that? And the answer to that is yes. So we would go back to that user's enrollment, and you'll see, pick the class. Okay, we're going to pick the project management class. And you'll see that they are still enrolled. So if you click on enrolled, it's going to take you to a different screen. And here you can auto complete them, force the completion. You can have to identify the date and the time, and then you save changes, and now their status will show not as enrolled, but as completed. So this is useful sometimes if there might be something, if they didn't complete the online training properly, that it didn't capture the completion, or if they're in a classroom situation and you want to complete the course because they did their hands-on piece or they completed their instruction in the classroom rather than online, then you can force complete an individual this way by clicking on the enrolled and then auto completing them.
And also, this is a way for you to do the reset. So let's say, looking at Pro 03 project management. Let's say I made a mistake, I'm an admin, and I completed a course for him, but it shouldn't have been completed. So whatever you do on this page, if you complete a class, it automatically translates to a completion on the transcript. So if there was a mistake for the completion, you can do a reset, but remember, if you reset the enrollment, it would clear out all the progress that he's clicked. Let's say there were 20 lessons, you're wiping out. Let's say he finished 18 lessons, you're wiping out that completion. But if it's a clear mistake, so just click OK. And from a completion, now it's back to enrolled. So now it's no longer showing on the transcript. So do you have any questions so far? We've discussed reports, admin menu users. Are there things that you want to see from the reports page or from the user page? So you can raise your hand or type on the chat area. Okay, so we don't have any questions. So Al, do you want to go admin menu and groups?
Yeah, so the next tab next to the users are the groups. So you'll click on the groups, and the groups are used for for users, for grouping, for reporting, and it's a great way to add enrollments to multiple people. Let's see. Okay, so there's a couple of groups here. So this it can be used for reporting, and like I said, for enrolling multiple students into a course. And oftentimes it's strictly used as reporting. There might not be a course attached to it, but let's take a look at one. Donna, you can pick one. So we're searching for any group that is part of District Council 35.
Yeah, so when we typed in 35, it showed multiple groups with the number 35, and this is how we assign permissions and how the District Council manages enrollment. So for District Council 35, they use the groups mainly for online courses. So we mentioned that everybody is assigned to a District Council group. So if a member is created in IMS and there is a District Council number, the system automatically assigns the person to the District Council. So if there was, let's say, a member with District Council 35, it's automatically assigned to this number. That's why you're seeing, if you type in your District Council, it would have all your members. And when we say all members, it would be a combination of active and inactive members. So before we were focusing on just active members for online assignments, but District Council started adding historical records, so there was no way for them to track their members' completion, or if somebody drops and re-enrolls or is back to the District Council, or if a member is part of another District Council and transfers to a different District Council. There was no way for the system to do that before, but now since we have all the records, any member who has a member ID and completions were uploaded or who took classes online, we keep all those records. So the main District Council number is your District Council number based on your permissions. Then District Council 35 sample, they have created their groups based on their classes per trade. So Mike is on the call, so they've created industrial paint, drywall. So at first they only had drywall drywall group, but they did a hybrid. So we're now seeing like a drywall and paint. Then they also have glazing and paint. So we can open a sample of their course group. So they assigned it to, right now it's showing as 300 members. So when you click on your group, you would see that this is just a group name. So the second tab would be a way for you to add the members. So similar to how we add enrollments, it's the same feel and function. So once you click the plus sign or the link to add user, all you need to do is type in the member ID and hit search. And once you hit search, you can just highlight that person and click OK. So whatever the setup for the enrollment for this group, that means Paul Mashine gets all the courses. But let's say we made a mistake with assigning him the enrollments. I can go back, or if he dropped the course, I can go back and just highlight his name and click OK. And once I do that, when he refreshes his page or after a few minutes, when he goes to my account, he won't be seeing the courses assigned to this group. So we can even check what are the courses assigned to this group. So right now it's showing it's glazing all levels. So if you hit the leaf where you can see the enrollment, so District Council 35, if you're an apprentice and starts attending their class, you get all the 4 pages of enrollment. So it's a combination of 4, and if we go to the next page, it will start showing all the glazing curriculum. So it's showing all the glazing student access courses assigned to the person. So although they do this, although they give all their courses, moment they become members, I'm sure they have a lesson plan, or they give the priority for the week, what lessons or courses they need to finish for, what course or lessons they need to finish for the week. So let me go back to the groups. Al, do you want to show other things under groups?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yeah, do you want to discuss other functions, or I'll show another sample? So I'm typing in 6, district council 6. So they have multiple pages. They started assigning them to contractors. So they may be for purposes of reporting or tracking. So if you have all these groups set up and you want to run a report, you can run a report and just copy and paste that name and run a report based on that group. So you're specifically looking for, that might be your filter. So right now I'm showing, go ahead.
I said there's many different ways to use the groups, and all the district councils honestly are using them in very different ways. So and you can experiment with that. And I know Mike Hines has a question about the system notifying if they're a member of a group, if they're enrolled in a course. And typically those groups are controlled by the admin, so the people that are learning here today, and they're assigned by the instructor. So there's not an automatic notification of it, but it's usually an assignment so that they know that they need to go into their account to access that course. So they'll see it on their account page. Any enrollment that's associated with the group will be found on their account page.
Yeah, so to answer Mike's question, does the system notify the member of the group that they are enrolled in? So right now, there's no automatic notification. So the only automatic email that's being sent out is once a member is created in the IMS and there's an email address, the LMS sends out a welcome letter, and it would say, welcome to the LMS, here's your username and password, and here's a way to change your password. So we've been asked about enrollment, if there's a way to send notifications by enrollment. There's a way to do that in the system. So when Alice and I were testing it's creating spam emails. So let's say the way that most of the groups are set up, they're enrolled in multiple courses. So let's say 100 courses or 50 courses. So if we turn that on, it looks like spam because you're getting like 50 emails in a day. So it was better to turn it off than to turn it on. Okay, so any questions, other questions about the group? Okay, so if you don't have any questions about the admin menu groups, I'll go back to the admin menu. And from the functions, we've discussed users, groups, then import activity data. So Ken, you want to talk about that and walk them through the process?
Okay, yeah, so on the import activity data, that's another way to get data into the LMS. By default, students taking courses, which is probably the easiest and most efficient way to get data into the LMS. A student takes a course, it records what they do, the date and time stamp, progress. If there's grades, it records all of that in the LMS. So all the information is available in the reports. But there are a lot of times when you have hands-on classes, things that are not online, so that you have the ability to upload data into the system. And you do that through a spreadsheet. So the import activity data is the way to get that into the LMS. So the structure that you see on the left-hand side, Donna actually has, or Alice has the spreadsheet that's created there. that is available as part of the admin course so that you can see the template. But on the left-hand side where it says import activity data, that gives you the structure for the spreadsheet that Donna has created as a template for you. So in column A, it needs to have the username. It can't be more than 255 characters, and it needs to be text. The same with the course code is in column B, and you can see the course name is in column C, and those have to match what's in the LMS. And as you go through, you'll see that column E is the course completed, and then the word end at the very end. So you fill out your spreadsheet with all the proper member ID numbers listed all the way down through, as many as you want, up to, I want to say 10,000 or something. Along with the course code, the course name, the date completed, and you have to have the word end at the very end. So once you fill that spreadsheet out, you're going to delete the very first column with the header. So you just do the column and hit delete, then you're going to go to File, Save As, and you're going to save it as a tab delimited, text tab delimited file. So if you guys have done Excel before, give it a name. Then in this Save As, instead of saving as an Excel, you want to save it as text tab delimited and put that wherever you know where it is on your desktop or something like that. So now what that means is you had a spreadsheet that you created and saved it in a format that the LMS can read. Excel is not an acceptable format to load in the LMS because Excel has a lot of other features that are built into an Excel file. So the tab delimited is basically a stripped down file of only the data. So once you have that file done, on the top left hand side you'll see a little up arrow in a box. So you click that. It opens up an upload window, so you choose the file, the one that you just created, the tab delimited, not the Excel one. If you click Excel, it'll tell you it's in the wrong format. So she named it sample.txt, and then you hit upload. And if everything matches, it finds the usernames, it finds the course code, and finds the course names, then it will upload the data, it'll process it, and then all that data that's in that spreadsheet will then be in the LMS as well. So it's a good way to get content in there for hands-on courses, things like that. You don't have to do it if they're courses that the students take online. So I know a lot of the content has been updated so that the students can take it online, which is probably a really good thing. With everything that's going on right now, that the content is already there. It's already been reviewed with a lot of committees. So that everything that's already online, you don't need to do this data upload for. So use it again for more things that are like hands-on. If you have Red Cross or somebody come in doing a CPR class and you want to add the data, or they're hands-on painting something or glazing something and you want to give them credit in the LMS, fill out the spreadsheet as your class roster, and you're able to upload that data. And the other button that's on the top left that has a little yellow triangle, that just gives you a little bit more information if you have any questions on it about what's required, what a length means, and just little notes on the spreadsheet if you're having any difficulties. And it's that simple.
Thanks, Ken. Yeah, so we have a copy of the spreadsheet, the upload spreadsheet. It should be found under your account, under LMS admin. So you would go to my account, LMS admin, and when you click go, there are several different resources there for you to use. And we've uploaded the sample basic upload template for you to download, and then you can use that multiple times to do your particular uploads that you have. So, and again, this is something that you get better with practice. So the more you do it, you know, if you get an error, don't be discouraged. Try again. Just double check that the course code, all the entries are entered as they should be without any extra spaces or characters, and in the format that is found on that spreadsheet. So it takes just a little bit of practice. Once you do it a couple of times, it usually comes second nature. You don't even have to really look and see what the title, the headings are, the fields of the spreadsheet. You just kind of know what you need to put in there. Does anybody have any questions about that?
Yeah, so there's a question from Matt. He's looking for information on how to enroll the students. So everything that we're discussing in the webinar, we're recording it. We'll be sending you all the information. Also, from the My Account Learning Activities, there's an LMS admin folder, and you have here the admin manual. It would have all the steps and screenshots, including the how to enroll users or apprentices. There's a learner manual. We also have a course that's automatically assigned to admins. It's core 002, so it's the LMS admin orientation. But for this webinar, we'll show you again how to do it in 2 different ways. So how to enroll members. So go back to the admin menu. Then if it's a single member, go back to users. And from the users, type in the member ID. I'll type in my member ID, 34. Then search for the member. Once you have the member, click the link or the name. Or I could have done, so anytime you see the leaf, that's a way to enroll the member. When I did the search, there was a leaf on the right side. I could have clicked that too. So click Enrollments. And once you hit that, if the listing does not have the course that you want to assign the member, you can click the plus sign, click New One-Time Enrollment, and you start adding courses. So I click the plus sign, add courses, and let's say I want to assign a glazing course. So I can just type in a GLZ, then click search. And it's up to the admin if you want to assign him a single course, safety glazing codes, or multiple courses. So I click the plus sign again, and let's say I want to assign him 5 new glazing courses. So I type in glazing again. And let's give him the math. We can assign that in the paint finishes. And once I'm satisfied with the enrollment, I click OK, then set up the enrollment, no end date, start right now, and no due date. Then click this Save Changes. So what happens now is once I do this, if he has a username and password, just give him the link to the LMS, iFTI, LMS.org. Then he types in his member ID and password, and it opens up My Account, and he gets all the courses that you just clicked or assigned to him. So this is one way of doing it, but if it's you're saying that he's part of a class or she's part of like 20 students in the class, so you can start doing the groups. So here, I just click on admin menu users and the member. Then there's a tab that's saying groups. So it's saying that I'm assigned to different groups, and these are for enrollment purposes or for tracking purposes or even my permission in the LMS. So I'm part of the directors of training. I get all the curriculum if I'm part of that group. So if you've set up your groups where you assign multiple courses per trade or per level, then I can just add myself to a group, or you add that member to the group. And say if I'm from 51 and the groups are set up with multiple enrollments, so I can just select student glazing 1 and click OK. And then that's it. So whatever the setup for District Council 51 Glazing 1, I get all those courses. You don't need to assign it one by one or per user. So other questions? Okay, so if you don't have any questions, the next tab after admin menu is admin tools. Becky, are you online? Shen, is Becky with you?
Sorry, I was having a technical difficulty. I'm here now.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So,
you want to share, Becky, or you want me to navigate for you?
oh, I'll do it.
Okay.
So, the admin tools is a separate set of tools that we have for taking care of certain needs for the LMS. And let me get in here and we can share this. All right, so if you want to share my screen, we can do that.
Okay, I'll stop sharing my screen. You can
Okay.
stop sharing.
And then hit share screen, and that should do it. Okay, so the LMS, when you first come here, you will verify your account. So you'll put in your username, member ID. It's the same thing as on the LMS. Use the same password you do on the LMS. And when you do, it'll ask you to re-enter your password to verify your account. And from that point on, you will have your login here on the admin tool. Okay, so when you come in, the main purpose for this is to upload certificates that the students, the members, have received from offline sources. So if you have somebody who has completed a first aid certificate in a local business, and they presented you with a certificate, you can upload it here so that they can present it at a work site or wherever they need to. And I always like to start with the user search because we talked a little bit about the user search on the LMS, and it's a great tool, but it's a little limited because you cannot control the search as well as you might like. So here, what we have is a search that's really detailed. As you can see, there's a lot of options. But if you wanted to look for Ken Rogers, instead of searching for K Rogers, because you know that's his username, but you know his name is Ken Rogers, you can search by first and last name, and it will filter out everybody that may or may not be him. So then from that point, you can go down and say, okay, well, I know he lives in Maryland, and we have, you just click on any field and it will filter down for it. And then at that point, you can say, okay, obviously I want the Ken Rogers that's an admin. So this is the Ken Rogers that I wanted. If you wanted to refine your search, you can go back to the search box, search page rather, and you'll notice that now Maryland, USA is selected as the state. So you can go back and forth from the search results to the search page as you need to till you find the person you really want. Any questions about the user search? I guess we have people muted. So, all right. Now, once you find them, then you can go view in their certificates and see what they have uploaded. And Ken doesn't have any because he's a admin rather than a student. The other main thing that we use here is the adding a certificate. So if you've got, like I said, an offline certificate for a course somebody has taken outside of the LMS, you're going to upload a certificate. And each of you will have permissions for the members in your district council. So you can see Ken's account, but you can't add anything to his, I don't know why this is being slow. Probably all those people home on the computer instead of at work. But you can see all of the certificates that have been, I'm sorry, I just got distracted. You can see all of the users, but you can only add certificates to members that are in your district council. So if I come in here, I'm logged in with somebody from district council 80. So I can see all of the people who are also in district council 80, and I can add a certificate to their account. So I select them. If I know their ID, if they don't appear in the list, and I know their ID, I can search for their ID and get it that way. If I don't know their ID, I can go back to the user search and search for them in that way. So there's always a different way to come at it. So if we take this guy's 5769335, 5769335. Let's see if I can remember that. 9345. Did I miss the 9? Yeah, I did. Hang on. This is what happens when I'm working remotely. So if we know his member ID, and obviously should have written it down, but I can search for him here, or I can find him in the drop down. So there's more than one way to get to a member. And the key is, once we get there, then we can add certificates. You will need the certificate in either a JPEG, PNG, or GIF format. I believe it will also take PDFs. Man, I apologize for the slowness. I don't know what is going on there. It's not usually this slow. There we go. So, as I said, you can do it in JPEG, GIF, PNG, or PDF. You select the course that he's taken, whatever the course is. You put the issue date. If the certificate doesn't have an issue date, I usually use the upload date. And then if it has an expiration date, you enter it. If it has a number of months valid, you enter that. Or you say it has no expiration date. Any of those 3 options is valid, but not all 3. Just pick one. And it will select, if you put both, it will go in the order that you see. It will prefer the date over the months valid. So, you know, don't put all 3. Then you just browse for a graphic and open it and upload. So at that point, the next time the systems all sync together, the app will take this information and display the certificate on the user's app so they can show it at a work site. So I just want to show you, as soon as this decides to load, I will show you how how you can search for an existing certificate and view it there. So, it's unnerving to have everybody be so silent. I'm not used to having no feedback. Okay, so if we want to see the certificate list, we can see the upload was successful. If we go to the certificate list, it will list all of the certificates. And I want to see the certificates sorted by issue date. So if I click the issue date header once, then I see that the oldest one is from 2012. If I want to see it by upload date, I click it once. And the first one was uploaded 4 years ago. I click it again, and the most recent one is at the top, which is handy for us because we want to delete this certificate. So I'm going to come over here. I hit delete, and it will ask you, please be sure this is the one you really want to delete, because once you delete a certificate, there is no undoing it and no getting it back. So be sure that, yes, you do really want to delete that certificate. You only have permissions to delete the ones that you upload, so that you don't have to worry about somebody else coming in and deleting your work, which is nice. Okay, and we can sort by name. We can go through all of the pages, because I am working with an admin account for District 80. You'll notice that I can only see the certificates from my district. I can see all users, but only certificates from my district. And if you come in here and a course is not available in the dropdown, there is a new course request that you can send in and let Donna and Alice and whoever else is in the office know that you need a new course in the LMS. And it will give you instructions as to how to do that and what you should do before you do that. You can, for instance, you can search for the course to see if it's, I'm not going to do the update, because if it's being slow for everything else, it'll time out on that today. Okay, so if you know the name has OSHA in it, or you have an OSHA course, you can search and see if there is an existing course that will work with your certificate. And again, if not, then you can notify Alice and the other team members that you need a new course added. Okay, and that's about it. We have a bulk upload that is not used very often. If you decide that that's something that you might need, if you've got more than 50 certificates to upload at one time, then you can contact Donna or Alice, and they'll put you in touch with me, and we can walk you through that. But most of you won't have that many certificates for the same course at the same time. And that's about it. Alice or Donna, do you have any questions from the members? Hello?
Yes. Do you have any questions for Becky about the admin tools, or for Ken? So what we'll do, we'll unmute everybody. If you have any questions, let us know.
Names like that, it's really hard. Yep, people get confused with it.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, everybody,
Yep,
if
have a
you
good
have
one.
any questions.
Are there any questions regarding the import certification?
She mentioned it's cheaper by 120% above the normal capacity.
Thank you, Becky. Doesn't look like there's any questions right now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so are there any questions regarding anything that we've covered today? I know that most of you are anxious to get some of your people up online to take some of the classes, you know, while our offices are closed. So I know that was of paramount concern. And as Donna said, besides the webinar, which we'll send a copy of this recording to you, that there are manuals on the LMS admin in your account. So you'd have to log into the LMS and click on My Account and look for the learning activities labeled LMS admin and click on the Go button there and look through the course materials that are available for you there. So that will include a couple of manuals, the admin manual as well as the learner manual. Okay, so if there aren't any other questions, I know that Tom is on. I'm not sure if he's on the phone.
Yep, I am. I'm here.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. Tom Funstein, he's going to give us some closing remarks, I guess.
Well, thanks again for joining us back to back here, if you were on yesterday. And thanks to Alice, Donna, Ken, and Becky for going over the LMS and some of its more advanced features that you can use to deliver instruction still during this time period. And I just wanted to let you know, again, a couple things. One, that, between Alice, Donna, and myself, we'll be managing the FTI International mailbox, and if that works, checking that daily, as well as, you guys know to have to get into us for your APR. If you have any concerns, use delivery.
Tom, you're breaking up.
If you have materials that I mentioned yesterday that aren't in the LMS or in a specific course, send those to us, and we'll be more than happy to put them into the system. You can use that to deliver your work. So with that, again, we're here, and we're staffed as far as the LMS is concerned, and your concerns that you have. So don't feel free to reach out to us, and look for messages on the homepage, as well as far as courses that we'll hopefully will be returning to, as far as the instructor courses, as well at the training center, which is currently closed still. But we're looking at a couple of options, as I mentioned yesterday, to maybe deliver a couple of the courses in a virtual environment as well. So with that, hope everyone stays safe, and again, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Okay, so with that, we will end the webinar. And as Tom said, reach out using the FTI International email if you have any questions. Don and I will be checking that on a daily basis to assist you as you need assistance. So thank you again, and that concludes our call.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.